Hi, beautiful people. How are ya? I hope you're having a great day. I'm Dr. Pammy Jean. I want to thank you for giving me some time off. I'm thanking you. I know it's my choice, but I'm thanking you because, I mean, this channel's for you and you matter. On the outside, it may look like I've got it all together. I didn't just stain a deck, a big deck, big long deck, and spray wash a bunch of rugs and things. Then spray a couple of coats of paint on a few things for the deck in the heat and carry those rugs and things to the deck. But have you ever felt like the world is just too much? Like everyday sounds are amplified, lights are blinding, and even a few gentle touches feel overwhelming. In this video, we're diving deep into what it truly feels like to live with an amplified sensory world, exploring the moments of intense overwhelm and the surprising ways I find calm amidst the chaos. Here we go. Living with a heightened sensory sensitivity means ordinary environments can become overwhelming. Here's what that often looks like: sensory overload, everyday stimuli, bright lights, loud chatter, the hum of an appliance, or even the texture of clothing can feel like an assault. And when we have exerted ourselves in physical work, this compounds the issue. Sensory overwhelm is real. In a 2007 study, researchers suggested that up to 90% of autistic individuals experience a sensory processing difference, often leading to overload that triggers anxiety, meltdowns or shutdowns, or reduced reaction. In fibromyalgia, our sensitivities include physical responses to sensory stimuli, as in autism, and include a heightened reaction to touch, sound, light, temperature, and other inputs. In fibromyalgia, it manifests widespread pain, fatigue, and amplified sensitivity to non-painful stimuli, a phenomenon known as central sensitization, where our central nervous system processes normal sensations as painful or overwhelming. I don't think I'm autistic, but we need to consider the sensory issues that we might have that are, well, autistic traits. This is what researchers call them. Studies suggest that autistic traits are more prevalent in people with fibromyalgia and vice versa. In a 2025 research cross-sectional comparison study of 260 adults with fibromyalgia, mostly female, mean age of 48, versus 139 general population controls, mostly female, mean age of 44, researchers found 37.3% of the fibro group scored above a clinical cutoff for potential autism, compared to 14.4% of the controls. This suggests that autistic traits may be up to 3 times more prevalent in fibromyalgia than general autism rates in chronic pain populations, which is at 8 to 13%. Central sensitization mediated the link between sensory sensitivities and autistic traits with a stronger effect in fibromyalgia. Imagine. I often get overwhelmed and need to seclude myself. That's so true. Pain and overwhelm are most likely the culprit, but I'm often told that I'm overly sensitive. So I found it best to reset and listen to my body. Do you ever get told that you're overly sensitive? Sometimes it feels a little hurtful. Social settings amplify the issue. And when someone asks something from me or assume I will take care of it for them, I may not react the way they think I should. How many times have you been told that you should be able to deal with it? This isn't just distraction. It can feel physically painful or disoriented as the brain struggles to filter irrelevant stimuli. It's true that people with ASD, ADHD, or sensory processing disorder will experience this severe experience of feeling physically in pain or disoriented when faced with overwhelming amounts of stimuli. But if you have anxiety, as I do, it can cause a mental disorientation like confusion, dizziness, or an inability to think clearly, along with the physical discomfort of pain. In fibromyalgia, background noise can overload us because the central nervous system amplification mirrors the pervasive multimodal sensory abnormalities that are in autism. I hate calling things abnormal. That's how the research states it. People with autism feel as normal as anybody, just as we feel as normal as anybody. But this can potentially explain why individuals with one condition may be at a higher risk for traits or symptoms of the other. Just something to think about. What do you think? What's tolerable one day might be unbearable the next. Fatigue, stress, or even hunger can lower the threshold for sensory tolerances, making consistency a moving target. Others might not get it. Just tune it out. Why are you so sensitive? Oh my gosh, those are triggers for me. When this happens, I feel that others are dismissing the real neurological differences at play. But to me, this is my normal. Research points to atypical neural connectivity in sensory processing areas, meaning the brain literally processes input differently. But we might be different. That doesn't make us weird or abnormal. So let's build a toolkit that will help us find calm in this amplified world as we take intentional strategies, often tailored through trial and error. Here are some practical approaches backed by insights from sensory processing research and real-world practices. I would be amiss if I didn't start this conversation this way. Prayer. I know that God is always with me and loves me, and He loves you too. Do you have that same peace? God's grace is with me and sufficient for me and gives me strength when I cannot see the end of the trial or the end of the road. His love provides me with compassion for others, and so I must practice compassion wherever I go. Sometimes my world feels overwhelming. I pray that I will always walk with God and remember that the chains of sin are broken in Jesus' name. We can take control of our own environment. Noise canceling headphones can be a game changer for many of us, reducing auditory overload in noisy settings. Brands like Bose and Sony are popular, but even budget options can help. I just wear some cheap headphones to do my editing, and I've had these forever. They're getting worn out. I would really love a new pair, but at that time they were a couple $100. My husband bought them for me as a gift. They have Bluetooth, so I can really tune things out with them. But we can also possibly dim lights in our home. Wear sunglasses or tinted lenses can soften harsh lighting. But at home, you can try warm, low wattage bulbs or blackout curtains to create a sensory friendly space. However, since my vision is slowly going, I find I need a bright space in my home. So it makes me happy to have my home brightly lit. But it's been trial and error, and I'm slowly changing the light bulbs to bright white. Safe spaces are an important part of anyone's environment. Creating a home that is filled with love and getting rid of the clutter is a game changer for me. Slowly, I'm working on this. And even though the deck outside wasn't clutter, it needed to be stained desperately. So that is done and off my plate. Now we're working on the garage, and we'll be working on that for a while. It's possible by the time you see this, we'll have it done and I can show you pictures. But oh my goodness, just clutter out there. It's where we've just thrown stuff. Don't know what to do with, throw it in the garage. That's what we've done. So these things take time, though, when you have a chronic illness, but it's doable. It's going to be beautiful when we're done. Fibromyalgia is a chronic condition marked by widespread pain, fatigue, amplified responses to sensory inputs, while autism frequently includes sensory processing differences that can manifest as over and under sensitivity to the environment. Fibromyalgia and autism spectrum disorder both involve atypical sensory processing, often characterized by heightened sensitivities to various stimuli. Research indicates notable overlaps, particularly in hypersensitivity, a word that is often offensive to some people with fibromyalgia. And I get it. Depends on how it's used for me, whether or not I find it offensive. I mean, hypersensitive? Everybody's sensitive to something, are they not? Why are we happen to be called hypersensitive? Well, they use that term to describe our very sensitive ears, our very sensitive olfactory, our very sensitive eyes, our very sensitive touch. These things, we're just sensitive. So they say hypersensitive. So all of that just stems from the central nervous system sensitivity processes, where the nervous system becomes overly responsive to stimuli. That's why we experience discomfort from everyday sounds, lights, or touches. I plan on talking more about this in the next video. I hope you join me then too. While I've been on a break, I've been doing research just here and there to better understand myself. And in the process, I think this info might help you too. But let me know if I'm way off base for you or if you get it. You understand where I'm coming from, because that matters to me, how you think, how you feel. So, autistic traits and fibromyalgia, wow, that's a big conversation, isn't it? But that's what researchers are saying. But I'd also like to discuss what we can do to help us overcome those sensitivities. So I hope you learned something. I send you gentle hugs and support. Love you so much. My hair's bugging me. It's touching me.